Hello and welcome to Talk a Good Game, and it's the preview of Saturday's matches. West Ham travel to Newcastle, two teams with no points in the Premier League yet, so it's a big game for different reasons for both of them. Gonzo, what's your thoughts on our opponents, Newcastle United?
They're bang in trouble, aren't they? If we could handpick a team to play, it would probably be them. We'd probably pick it at home. It's a long journey up there, but he didn't get the players he wanted, Benitez. He was looking for, I think, for more investment from Mike Ashley. He didn't get it, and he's made his frustrations very public.
Well, on this show, it's called Talk a Good Game because we try and do just that. Now, our guest tonight doesn't just talk a good game, he sings a good game as well. We've got Alex from Missing Andy, fantastic band. The link is below to their song. Dave, do check out but after the preview. Watch it all first. Alex, what's your thoughts on Newcastle?
Yeah, here as Gonzo said, they are banging trouble. I mean, it was even more so now after they went out of the cup to Forest last night. I mean, if we were in the same position, it would have been, we've got a bit of a confidence boost going into it, but they're still in a rut. And they're struggling. Obviously, as you said, the manager's not happy, but I still think they can be dangerous. It's not, it's not going to be a guaranteed 3 points up there. It's going to be a tricky game, I think.
Well, the Geordie faithful were hoping for a wrath of evolution, but they might have a wrath of relegation. Gonzo, can you see them going down?
Yeah, because it's not a happy ship, and they are a bit of a yo-yo club, really, at the moment. You'd have to say. The transfer window's still open. They still have a chance to do things, but as we've seen, buying players ain't easy. And if you're not going to commit the money to it, then you're going to find it hard to get them. And it does look like they need players, so they certainly don't look like they have the composition of a Premier League squad.
Rafa, the Spanish waiter, is probably one of the favourites for Slaven Bilic's job should the Croatian leave. He does have a good record over West Ham, though. He's done 13 games against us in the dugout, winning 10 and losing just 1. However, most of them were when he was at Liverpool with the likes of Steven Gerrard in his team. Different case scenario when you've got the likes of John Joe Shelby at your disposal. Shelby is suspended for this one, Alex. Do you have any Newcastle players you think we should be looking out for since Shelby's out?
Well, I mean, the what's his name, Mitrovic, who played last night. I mean, I know that he's not like their number one go-to striker, but I think I saw his goal last night, and it's a hell of a finish. And I think he can be a bit of a handful. He's big, he's strong, he's powerful. So it depends who they go for up top. But yeah, I mean, as I said to you before, I didn't watch too much of them in the Championship last season, but they're a team that always have quality about them, so there'll be a few people to look out for.
Charlie earlier tonight spoke to a Newcastle United fan. The link to his show is at the end of this one, so do check out Newcastle's perspective. Now let's talk about West Ham. Well, Benitez has a good record over us. Pablo Zabaleta has a fantastic record over them. He has played 10 as a footballer, or usually for Man City, winning 9 and losing none. Enter West Ham. But Gonzo, James Collins last night, man of match. Does he start for you on Saturday? And if so, who plays alongside him in the centre of defence?
I would play Ogbonna because he's left-footed if Collins was playing. I don't think you could really muck around with a team if you're winning, and you certainly can't muck around with a defence if you're keeping clean sheets. Well, we're not. We've shipped 7 goals in those 2 games, and Ginge came in, albeit against a lower league opposition, but he does what he always does. He leads the line well. He's brave. I'd put him in. There's absolutely nobody can make a case that played against Southampton or Man U for playing at centre back. Nobody can. The most informed centre back we've probably got is James Collins, so I'd play him. What
about yourself, Alex? If you play Ginge, who would you play alongside him?
Oh, well, I mean, I think Ginger's got to start. Yeah, I agree. Either Bonner or possibly Kouyaté. Obviously, he got a little run out last night, but he's more than capable in the centre half position. Just depends whether he's got, he's 100% fit to start. I don't know. So I'd probably say Bonner's your safer bet.
I'd be going with Kouyaté as well, along with Collins. But that leads me on to my next question, Gonzo. Bilic has now got his first headache, I think, of the season. Centre midfield. 18-year-old Declan Rice, banging form. Captain Mark Noble, Kouyaté back from injury, and Pedro Obiang, who was arguably one of our best players last season. Who would you start in the middle of the pitch?
Well, I said we've got to drop defenders because they're out of form. You've got to play Declan Rice because he's in form. So you play him there. Who do you play alongside him? What I do think is pivotal, I'd probably go for Obiang out of all of them, by the way, as a quick answer to the question. The long answer to the question is pivotal that we have a passer in the middle. So if you're playing those two, we need one more in there. If he can't find that one more in there, like we haven't got that guy that can play the ball, in essence, if Lanzini's not fit, then he's got to be brave and go with 2 up. Because if we haven't got an attacking midfielder, then play 2 strikers, play Sacco and play Hernandez.
Do you agree with that, Alex? Gonzo's talking about dropping our captain there.
Well, do you know what? Funny enough, I was watching the game with my brother last night, and he said it to me, and he said he's starting to remind me of when Kevin Nolan before he left, just the silly mistakes he was making, doing the wrong things in the wrong areas, misplacing passes. I don't know whether it's complacency or what, but and I love him to bits. He's Mr. West Ham, but if he's not performing, no one has the right to play off the back of poor performances. And Declan Rice has been absolutely fantastic to watch so far. It's been a breath of fresh air, and I think he warrants a start. Until he starts playing bad, he warrants his name on that team sheet. So yeah, I would agree. As much as I don't like to say it, I think Noble's got to be dropped until he can start stepping up and be the player he was, like the last season at Upton Park, where he was phenomenal.
Well, last night, Sacco got an hour under his belt, scored. Lanzini's back, half fit. Would you be starting either of them or maybe even both of them, Alex?
No, I'd go for Hernandez. I think he's showed at the Southampton game he's still got that quality. He's still a poacher. He's still got a great finish. And I think Sacco, I think he still needs to get up to fitness. He got the goal last night. I think the keeper didn't, he did him a favour with that goal, really. But yeah, no, I'd definitely start Hernandez. We need a confident start with him.
Gonzo, half fit Lanzini, but is it sort of a must find him in the team sort of job?
You've got to do something. That's what I said. So if Lanzini's half fit and Sacco's half fit, give them a half each. So play 2 up top at one point, and then when one of them's not fit, then put Lanzini in there, because you've either got to supply the ammunition or you've got to have a couple of big guns up front. And obviously, like Alex says, Hernandez has got to play. He surely will be our best player. He should be. Look at the money he's on. Real Madrid, Man United. He's got that uncoachable talent of being able to find space in the box. So either or of those has got to be involved. Otherwise, we're going to struggle to create chances, because Rafa Benitez is a boring manager, really. He creates a tight defence, or at least he tries to. He's got a reputation for doing that. So he's not going to want to lose. We're scenting blood. We're sniffing blood on them. They're going to be thinking the same as us. They're not going to be thinking, oh, West Ham are back in form because they beat Cheltenham. He's going to be thinking, well, on their bottom of the league. They're alongside us. So they'll be sniffing blood as well. And I think he'll have them resolute and compact at the back. So we need to think out the box and be able to open them up.
We've also won just one of our last 13 league games at St James's Park, so our record up there is not the best. I've watched both of Newcastle's games this season, pretty much because they were both on TV, and also I had a monetary interest in Mooney scoring for Huddersfield against them. But I have to say, Newcastle's a team of 2 halves for me. Their defence looks very well organised, very hard to break down. Spurs struggled to break them down until John Shelby decided to stamp on someone. But going forward, I've seen nothing to be afraid of. They haven't scored this season, but they haven't offered much. They've got Gale, who was banging for them last season. They've spent money on the likes of Murphy. They should be scoring, but they're not. Someone who is, though, is Hernandez. 2 goals. He's had 5 shots this season. 2 of them have gone in. 3 and 9 against Newcastle. Alex, who's our key man for this weekend? I think you've got a lot of contenders here. Hernandez is the obvious one, but we've got Lanzini back, and we've got Hammer of the Year Antonio, who's had another week of training and wasn't risked midweek.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like you say, that are they going to be fit enough to start? I think we're absolutely missing the creativity that Lanzini has and the power that Antonio has to offer as well. Obviously, he got 90 minutes under his belt with the youth team a couple of weeks back or something, and he looked, from what I saw from the game, I just saw the highlight reel. He looked sharp. He looked, at his best. So I'd love to see him start. If he's fit, then yeah, I think he's going to be one of our key men going forward. And as I say, Lanzini, he's just got that something skill that he can just turn on in a second and create something. So hopefully they're both up to scratch. But you don't want to rush it. You don't want to give them 90 minutes when they're not ready for it and then go further backwards.
That is the big question, the big problem potentially. Gonzo, are you confident for this one? And if we don't win, There's a great big red button that says panic on it. Will you be hitting that? Not necessarily for the season, but for the manager. Will you be saying, right, come on?
Well, yeah, I think it would be. I think he would be under pressure. You couldn't not be. I don't think he would go at that point. As I said, I think if he then went to Huddersfield and then he lost out, I don't think it lasted a matter of days after. I don't think he lost the international break basically. But it would be serious. It would be a serious issue to lose those games. We need a good performance. I think he could get away with a draw if we had a good performance. We were hitting the post and just generally doing well. But we've got to play the best players, nurture the ones that aren't fully fit. I do agree we can't play 3 players that aren't fit. You know, so if you've got Lanzini, Sacco, and Antonio, and they're all 75%, you probably can't play all 3. But we've got to win this game. This game has become a must-win game. Panic button, I'm not so sure, but it's close.
What about yourself, Alex? Are you confident for this one?
I wouldn't say I'm confident. If it's like you say, it's a must-win game, but for both sides. But I think both sides are going to be really hungry for it, and I think that they're going to be even more dangerous for that. But it's if we didn't come away with a point or 3 points, I wouldn't be hitting the. Obviously, it's not a great start, but you've got to remember it's only 3 games into a long old season. I don't think there's much point in trying to boot Bilic out yet. I think he's a terrific manager, and I'd like to see him have as much time as possible. But I really, really sincerely hope we come away with 3 points. It's not going to be easy. I would probably be happy with a point.
Well, I'll get your score predictions in a minute. I'm reasonably confident for this one. I think the Southampton game showed us plenty to be positive about. We came from 2-0 down. I do wonder if Arnautovic hadn't done that, just what the outcome would have been. And if we had won, we'd probably be really looking for. Well, we are looking forward to it, but we'd probably be really confident on this show. Going, you know what? We went to St Mary's, we've won, we've got 3 points on the board, we've just beat Cheltenham, we're going to Newcastle. And I think it's a bit. The only problem is Bilic has got a huge.
Gio, you cut out there. You're still there. You cut out by saying Bilic has got a huge. Yeah, it was a bad time to cut out. To be fair, are you back?
I'm back. It doesn't matter what I say. Go on.
He's got a huge what?
What's your score prediction? Just give me your score prediction.
I think we're gonna win. I think we're gonna win 2-1. We've got to be careful of their pace, though. They got Atsu, Gale, Rolando Aarons if he comes on. They got quick players.
What about yourself, Alex? Your debut on Talking Game, your debut on Hammers Chat. What are you pumping for?
Well, it's my debut, so I've got to opt for a West Ham win, but I can't see us keeping a clean sheet, and I can't see us scoring a million goals. So again, I'd say 2-1 is fair.
Well, it doesn't happen very often, but all 3 of us are saying 2-1. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like the video. It's goodbye from Alex.
See you later. Thanks for having us.
Goodbye from Gonzo.
Cheerio.
And it's goodbye from me.